Hello, everybody, and welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around fancy Premier League. My name's Suj.
And my name is James.
And for this Clash of the Correspondents, James, you made the journey nice and easy. We can pop on the tube. Piccadilly line, is it? Takes us from
from Arsenal. You get a tram
Arsenal?
west from South London.
A tram.
Yeah,
a tram.
You get a tram. Get a tram west, and then go up on the district line.
James woke up in 1840, but for the rest of us, introduce our guest.
Them gooners know about them trams south of the river. Let me introduce you to Tom Med, our Brentford correspondent. How are you, Tom?
I'm good, gents. How are we all keeping well?
Yes.
Yeah, really good.
Very well, thank you, mate. Should we get the elephant out, in the room out quickly and Christian Eriksen?
Fine. I've moved on.
No, you haven't.
I'm still wearing his jersey at the moment. So no. I mean, yeah, I'm happy he's moved to a club that it's got European football. I think we'll leave it on that one because if he went to Newcastle or if he went to Everton, which were the other two clubs I heard about, I would have been absolutely devastated because at least he's actually gone to a club which is in Europe. I mean,
it's funny because it must be similar. Actually, I didn't think about it. Similar to how we feel about Jesse Lingard, and that he came in for 6 months. We built a good relationship. He got on with everybody, did well. We feel like we helped his career a little bit. I mean, Eriksen, completely different circumstances with his health, of course.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you I know you like us a little bit, like stick around, but also he owes you nothing in the same way that Jesse owes us nothing. But yet there's still, like James says, you're not over it. I'm still not over it. And I can tell exactly where you're coming from because you just hope that he'd wanted to stick around for a little bit longer. But it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think right. If you asked me right at the end of the season, is he going to stay? I would have straight up been like, no, obviously not. And then obviously the Tottenham link sort of went, and everyone was like, no, he's not going to Tottenham. And then he came out all of a sudden and said like, he wants to stay in London, and his family are settled in London. It's like, well, he's not going to Arsenal. He's probably not going to West Ham. It's definitely not going to go to Fulham. So I'm like, who's he actually going to go to? And it's like, well, he's going to stay with us. And then obviously United came in and opened up a big old cash book and went, well, how much do you want? Something along those lines, I'd assume. But yeah, but when it was getting to the point where it's like he's thinking about staying in London, and then he was like, oh, and then it came out again that he's not interested in moving to Manchester. It's like, well, he's going to stay. And then all of a sudden, I think everyone got their hopes up. And because it was drawn out for such a long time, I think it just made it worse when he left because everyone was like, oh, he could have left at the start of the end of the season and just put everyone out of their misery sort of thing. But no, he's waited obviously a good 6-7 weeks into it. And I think the drawn outness of it made everyone a bit frustrated by the end.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one because it looked very much like at one stage he was going to come back to Tottenham. Certainly there were talks between Tottenham and Eriksen, as there were Eriksen at many clubs. And it was Tottenham that pulled away for whatever reason. And I think Eriksen thought he was staying in London. He knew the football club. After everything he's been through, it seemed right. And for whatever reason, and I don't really know why, because it's not like Tottenham have bought a replica or a same player yet or anything. Tottenham pulled away. Maybe there was a little bit of doubt where he wanted assurances of starts, where I think maybe wasn't definitely always going to be first choice for us, particularly with the system we play and stuff. And I think it took so long, Tom, because he genuinely nearly did just re-sign with you. He was incredibly grateful for what you as a football club did for him. And it's in the end of the day, it's Man United. It's difficult to turn down, right? When they offer.
Yeah, I mean, he's earning more money. He's playing in Europe, and he is, let's be honest, playing for a bigger club. So you don't hold it against him. I mean, if you're in the same position, you'd do exactly the same thing. So, I saw. Yeah, I mean, it was an obvious choice. I think it's a lot of Brent fans going, oh, maybe he should be a bit more loyal to us. And it's like, well, not really. He was there for 6 months. It wasn't like he was there for like 7-8 years. And there was like, do you know what I mean? There's not really.
No, and it was kind of a brief marriage of convenience that worked for everybody, right?
Oh, 100%.
At the end of the day, he came in, got himself fit, proved he could still do it in our league, and got you out of shit, basically, mate. He was very, very responsible for your upturn in form, which, to lead into the next part of the conversation, I'm sure you've had a few people mention it already, he's gone, and second season syndrome. We sit here with someone every summer who's got second season syndrome coming around, and we always come to the same conclusion. And actually, I think you'll be all right. And I don't feel any different about you. But
I'm not really that. A lot of people I see. I mean, as the probably one of very few Brentford fans on Twitter, as you're very well aware, the amount of like tweets I saw of like, oh, Eriksen, and as you just said, Eriksen got us out of the shit. I actually don't think it was just him.
Of course, not just him.
No.
Of course not. No.
So I thought actually, obviously he's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong, and obviously it's going to be very hard to replace him. But I actually think us changing to a back four was the main reason for our upturn in form, rather than Eriksen joining us and playing. Obviously, he did really well. He got 4 assists and 1 goal in, I think it was 11 games. And I think it was a bit overstated how well he did it. Obviously, his balls are amazing. And when and again, before I say it,
we were talking before air about Nico making nice clips of all the things, and I think we found this episode straight away.
Fantastic, that's a good start. good beginning. Yeah, I mean he's obviously incredible, but I think the change of system really was actually what benefited us more and allowed. I mean, I banged on about it all of last season for obviously people who listened to the Clash of Correspondents last year, that as soon as we move to a back four, Ivan Toney will be in the position he needs to be and start scoring the goals where he wants to be. And as you saw, that's what happened. So I think he scored half his goals in the last 8 games. I mean, I know there was.
I was going to say, scored half them against Norwich, mate.
A few pens in there, and and a few
5 against Norwich and Burnley, wasn't it? Weeks.
I think it might have been. Yeah, it might have been.
Mind you, definitely the main reason Tom won the was it April or March Manager of the Month?
Yeah,
our Correspondent League blitzed it because he was the only one with any Brentford players.
Exactly, absolutely. But yeah, we will miss him, but I'm not that worried. And second season syndrome, it's just a myth, isn't it? It's just a myth. We saw it with Sheffield United, and I think everyone's
last year,
and everyone's just jumped on the bandwagon and gone, yeah, of course, it's going to be a thing now. I'm pretty fine, I think.
I think psychologically it's different though. One, everyone takes you seriously.
Yeah.
You only have to look at your home results against the big clubs last year to know, a little bit of a disappointing night against Manchester United. You give everyone a game.
Yeah.
Even City, I mean, Chelsea, God knows how you lost. Liverpool, brilliant 3-3. You should have beat us. You did beat Arsenal. So these teams and others come and treat you with real respect now. Real respect. So that brings its own challenge. Everybody knows about you. And I just think psychologically, you might find that in the crowd, there's a little bit of difference where it becomes not that Brentford think, oh, we're big time Charlies, we're comfortable in the Premier League, but just psychologically, I remember this time last year, I said to you, just make sure you enjoy this because it might be the only season ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can get comfortable. And as soon as you do that in this league, it bites you.
Yeah, I think luckily pre-season's given them all a good old kick in. So, I mean, it's been pretty shambolic so far in pre-season.
Talk about that, mate.
Yeah, we just lost 4-0 to Wolfsburg. That was fun.
You've got no danger of second season syndrome here. Carry on.
Yeah, we drew 2-2 to Strasbourg, which was pretty disappointing. But we did beat Boreham Wood 2-0. So, I mean, pretty much Boreham Wood's same level as sort of Man City, Liverpool, isn't it? So
you'll be fine. We only managed to draw against them, if I remember. So you're doing better than us at the moment against Boreham Wood.
You're going down with a West Ham.
Yeah, we're missing a few players. Pinnock's injured, and so is Christopher Raya, which is the 2 big misses at the moment. Luckily, we signed a beautiful claret in this place. Pinnock's out for unknown at the moment. Weeks, not months, is what I've heard. Raya could be a little bit longer. He had operation at the end of the season on a hamstring injury. He got it the Leeds game, so he'll be out potentially a couple more than that. But luckily, the fact we've changed to a back 4, which I think we will continue to do, and we've still got Pontus Jansson and Ben Mee coming in, is not too bad.
And genuinely, I'll tell you exactly what I told Andy last year, Andy Mine. I think you'd be fine. But it does feel like this is how it starts. You have a run of injuries in pre-season, a run of bad results. Not that pre-season fixtures matter, but then suddenly something happens where, like, say what happened with Brentford last year. You lose the big man up front, and then it becomes a fear. We saw, obviously, I mean, we'll talk about him a lot on this, obviously, but that period you had without David Raya last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, talk about important players. Arguably, he is his most important. Now, you've properly fixed that now because you've got a goalkeeper who's potentially going to be competition for him as well. But actually, if you start losing them key players, I think the additions you've made have been good as well as helpful.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the new boys people might not be familiar with.
We'll start. Sportsman's starting goal because I mean everyone's asked me about
let's
that.
Do it.
Yeah, so Thomas Strakosha, I can't really say his surname. I'm awful at pronouncing. Mate. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got I was saying Mbuemo for one half of the season, and then said Mbuemo part the second half. Thomas Strakosha, so Lazio's number one keeper on a free transfer. Ironically, was planning on going to Man United and turned United down to join Brentford. Most likely, I would say, is because he believes there's more chance of him being number one at Brentford than there is being number one at United. Obviously, he'd be behind De Gea and I assume Dean Henderson, who when he comes back from Forest. Raya's got 2 years left on his contract. Raya will be number one at the start of the season. I've had that question asked me 3 million times already in pre-season of, is David Raya going to be starting as Brentford's number one keeper? I am very, very confident he'll be Brentford's number one keeper at the start of the season. Whether he's Brentford's number one keeper,
I hope I don't have to sack him, Suj, because I only have a Brentford fan.
Yeah.
If you keep losing 4-0 in pre-season, mate.
That's because we ain't got any centre backs.
Nah. Oh, you got one.
Yeah. Well, how many fit, we're not sure. So, yeah, I think a lot of people said obviously it's like Lazio number one keeper, so why would he come and be number two at Brentford? I think it's one of those.
To answer it.
It's. I do. I'm getting there.
Meslier.
Yeah, absolutely.
4.5 go Meslier. Is that what you're saying?
Bobby Sanchez.
Yeah.
So basically, apparently it's his dream to play in the Premier League, and I don't think there was many other suitors for a goalkeeper, really. We obviously needed a good backup. I think a lot of people have looked at how good Strakosha is rather than actually how good David Raya is. So it's, okay, fine, we've brought in a new keeper who's of very good quality, but he'd have to come in and replace a keeper who, as you said a minute ago, is probably one of our best players and a player that when we didn't have him last year, we went on a ridiculous losing streak and we conceded so many sloppy goals because we didn't have a player who could save anything. I think David Raya is third choice in the Spain team now. He is a Spanish international. He is an incredibly high quality keeper. He knows the system. He's good on it, good with his feet, and he knows all the players. Yeah. So how a player can come in and after 4 weeks replace him, just isn't going to happen. I mean, I'll happily eat many hats if it does, but David Raya will be number one. Maybe by January we might, if he doesn't sign a new contract, then obviously you've got 18 months left, and whether we then go right now we need to cash in on him, and we have the perfect number one replacement in the background, then great. But what I also potentially think is, so they've been talking to Raya for months now about a new contract, and I think it's just the finer details they're trying to work out. But by bringing in a competition of a goalkeeper, it's like, fine, don't sign a new contract, we'll sign another number one. So it puts pressure, I think, on Raya to go either sign a new contract or leave, really. So
yeah. You summarised very well what I've read, which is a first initial contract was offered, it was turned down. He's got 2 years left on his contract, but there's not any animosity in terms of, it was low ball offer, or apparently the club and goalkeeper both want to sign the deal, and it probably will happen.
Yeah.
But exactly what you said, if it doesn't, we'll certainly be in a position where this time next year he's going to go. There are certain things that don't add up, I think, from the neutral, where there's concern here. So the two goalkeepers you had last year, Lossell and Fernandez, were both
awful,
shite, mate. Crap, right?
Really bad.
Fernandez, particularly,
they were bad. So, and obviously you didn't take up the option to buy Alvaro Fernandez. So what people will already listening to you are going to go, so hang on, so he is going to come in at Brentford as the number two, and I agree with you. We're pretty confident about that. And yeah, he's got a dream to play in the Premier League. It doesn't quite add up that he didn't go to Manchester United and probably would have played Europa League games. That doesn't quite make sense, really, because he's not going to have that with you. Yes, he probably is going to play in the 1 or 2 Carabao Cup games before the World Cup and stuff. But you've got a guy who's played over 30 games for Lazio in Serie A. He's not coming to sit on the bench. This is the point, isn't it? No. He's not coming to sit on the bench. He's going to push him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you see a few bad games from Raya, then there's potential that he could be dropped every so often.
I think it's potentially a super player. It's a free transfer, right?
Yeah, I mean, it cost us what, 4-year contract he's on. So
it's a free transfer. You've summed it up well. Potentially, Raya's going to go in 12 months, maybe. Whether he does or doesn't sign a new contract.
Yeah.
It might be new contract with release clause or something like that. I think he's got the potential to play for one of the top 6.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think that potentially could be where it goes. Where, I mean, on a 4-year contract for this new keeper, that you see Raya play another season this season, is playing of high quality again. You see someone come in. I mean, if you think of the ages of the keepers in the sort of upper, I mean, De Gea's obviously not young.
Hugo needs replacing.
Yeah, and also even if you go down to sort of like maybe like Leicester, like Kasper Schmeichel's not a young man anymore either. So sort of those clubs where they can pay. I mean, David Raya's on what, 25 grand a week. It's not a lot of money. And when you think about sort of
make everyone feel like shit, why don't you?
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, in football, absolutely. I mean, 25. And I believe he's our top earning player as well at 25 grand. So I mean, we're not like we're paying massive bucks here. So yeah, you could see someone like maybe Leicester, someone like that. Yeah, Tottenham, as you said, he could easily go.
Even you think Ivan Toney's on less than 25 grand a week?
Yeah, pretty sure. Wow. So
wow.
I think, and it's honestly, it's Newell newspaper talk as well, but I'm pretty sure they're on the same amount of money. But he came in.
Tony's got longer left. He's got 3 years left as well.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, he's got 3.
Yeah, I've said to you before, Suj, like if Tottenham, with respect, Tom, if we wanted to look at him in 12 months, not now, but in 12 months, yeah, I really, really rate him.
Yeah, I think the last 12 months always on the scale.
When I went to your place in April,
he needs someone.
Do you know what? It's one of the rare times I've been at a football match and realised the goalkeeper was much better than I thought he was.
Yeah,
his distribution is outstanding,
unbelievable. Yeah, it's just passing out the backs. Yeah, crazy. So
it's like a sweeper.
Yeah, he's so good. That's what everyone's been saying. No, this keeps going to come in and replace him, and you shouldn't have him in your FPL team. It's like, well, you're wrong.
Is he in?
Yeah, he's in my team. Yeah.
Any doubt?
No. He'll. I think there's. Well, we'll come on to other Brentford players, I'm sure, in a bit. But yeah, he is one that will not be leaving the team now, unless something crazy happens and I don't know, breaks a leg or something before start of the season. Yeah, he'll be my starting keeper.
He has to be in consideration. I think actually what's interesting is in most FPL seasons, I actually think he'd be more popular than what he actually is. There's 2 reasons for that. One, the slight dip in pricing of the bigger clubs, if you will. But it's also this unlimited transfers. And knowing that most of us probably will wildcard early, because you, up to the World Cup, you've got a period. Leicester United first 2 is not brilliant, but then Arsenal at home in 8, Chelsea at home in 12. That's all you've got up to Man City's last game before the World Cup.
Really good run.
You have a super run. But I think the doubts crept in where it's like, because you don't want to play around with a goalkeeper. You want to get the cheap one. You want him to sit there and forget about it. But if people are looking at going, I might wildcard as early as 3 or 4, debating if he's best, that's where when you look at, with respect, Leicester away, United at home, we don't overly expect you to keep clean sheets.
No,
if we're looking early, if we're looking longer, he's the one. And I don't actually have too much doubt about that.
Yeah, as I said, I own him. I
didn't doubt for a second you would. It would have been another reason to sack you if you didn't. I think. People would have been well gutted, mate.
There's more. I mean, there's so many Brentford players. It keeps going that message of like, how many you have too many Brentford players in your team. You must remove one. So yeah, I've had that a few times already this year. So, but yeah, who else we signed? Aaron.
I feel like you were getting it when you weren't even in the Premier League. You were probably editing the message to make sure it said Brentford.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
someone else.
Just putting all the strips on and spend a lot of time in Photoshop.
He makes these other defensive assets no goes, right?
It's just ridiculous. Well. Like, why have they priced him at 5 mil? Yeah.
You want to talk about Aaron Hickey? Yeah.
Aaron Hickey. Sorry. Yeah. 5 mil. Yeah. Just don't bother. I mean, he'll be great. Footballing wise, fantastic. But from an FPL point of view, it's 5 million. Why would you spend 5 million when you can go out and get someone else?
This
5
kid
million?
is so highly rated, mate.
Yeah. So Arsenal were in for him. So left back, both footed, incredibly both.
He's going to play on the right, isn't he?
He's going to play on the right. Yeah. So he'll be our right back. We've needed a right back for ages. I think someone even started a Twitter account, said, "How's Brentford signed a right back?" And it was like 1,400 days or something since the last time we'd signed a right back. Yeah, it was very much needed. Rico Henry on the left is quite clear. Aaron Hickey has played right back a lot generally. So he plays left, but he's a left back by trade, but he's played on the right for Scotland, played on the right for Bologna, where we signed him from. Was in talks with Arsenal and us, but I think the sway was that he was going to play every game if he joins us, and he would be probably second tier to Tierney if he joined Arsenal. So I think that was the sort of. I don't think Arsenal ever actually came in with a full bid for him.
I'd say what the irony is, if he'd started for Arsenal, he may well have started the season with Arsenal. The irony.
Yeah. With what Tomiyasu out and
Tierney's probably out.
It's Tierney out as well. Yeah, right.
Very doubtful.
Yeah, potentially, but I mean that's fine for us. I'll happily take that one. So yeah, really highly rated, really young. I think he's 22. Looks brilliant. Scored 5 goals last year in Bologna. Got an assist.
That's why he's 5 million, mate.
Annoyingly, yeah. But then we talk about the other wing back, the one Rico Henry got 3 goals last year. So
yeah, but it's the unknown element a little bit as well. Same's happened because Tom was straight in on our Slack when his price come out. This disgraceful price, and I was like, it's the same with Christensen at Leeds.
Yeah.
They've done exactly the same thing. So at least that's consistent. Centre backs are concerned at the moment, though, isn't it? I think those as fullbacks is great if they stay fit.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I said, Aya's out, Pinnock's out at the moment. Obviously, we've signed Ben Mee, which for me actually, weirdly, is probably my favourite signing we've made so far. I've always really liked Ben Mee. I think he's a brilliant defender, and as on a free transfer, he comes in ridiculously as our oldest player in the squad. I think.
Fun fact: Ben Mee has played more games for Burnley in the Premier League than something. James, if I remember, I don't remember the time scale on it. But what we've been doing this week is proving that I've been listening to the quizzes on Patreon last week. And I remember the quiz question. It was who's played the most games for Burnley in the Premier League? Was it all time?
Yeah, all time in the Premier League, yes.
I got that wrong. I went with Nick Pope, but Ben Mee. So, I mean, he's consistent. He's reliable. You know what you're going to get. And I think adding a bit of experience sometimes in the Premier League is decent to help.
Yeah, obviously we relied on Sorensen last year, and I just don't think he's quite there. We played against Wolfsburg, as I mentioned the other day. We lost 4-0. And we conceded 3 goals from corners. So having Ben Mee in there is probably going to be slightly helpful.
Okay, now we got Leicester first day, it'd be 5-5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's
Johnny Evans hat trick.
Yeah, there you go. Everyone get Johnny Evans in for your first game week. There you go. That'll be a differential. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great signing on free transfer. He apparently was interested there was interest from other clubs, but everyone was given him a 1-year deal. We've given him 2. Good experience. I think it's perfect.
A good signing.
It's a fantastic signing. I think he's just adds a bit of leadership that is needed with Pontus Jansson in his final year of contract. I'm going to go on Jansson quickly as well because I think I've seen a lot of people have Jansson in as my 4.5 defender because he scored a few goals last year. Don't get Jansson in. He's in his final year. He's in his final year of contract. He will be once Pinnock and Aya are back. I would assume now Ben Mee's here, probably 4th choice centre back. I mean, he's a great defender. Aya's better, Pinnock's better. Ben Mee potentially will be in. I think Ben Mee will play more than him. It's his final year, sort of playing in the Premier League. They've already made that pretty clear. I'm pretty sure there won't be an extension to his contract next year. I think let's talk about him going back to Sweden. So. Yeah.
Are we certain this is going to be a back 4 though? Because we saw it flip-flop last year.
Very fluid.
So why couldn't it this year?
I think it will. I think there'll be with the first 16 games we've got. The only times I can really see us playing a back 5 is Chelsea, maybe Arsenal, potentially Man United. But we did a back 5 against Man United last year, and that went horribly wrong. So, yeah, I think we'll see majority a 4 with like a 2 in the pivot. And then
does this also make Ben Mee himself a dodgy choice?
Yeah, I think if I was picking a Brentford defender, you pick Rico Henry or don't bother. So that would be my
advice.
Yeah,
you're not certain that when they're all fit, you wouldn't be certain that Ben Mee's first choice.
No, when they're all fit, it'd be Christopher on the right, Pinnock on the left-hand side would be my assumption. I would say Pinnock and Mee may get a bit of rotation. Pinnock being quite injury prone. Same with Aya, to be honest. But they've all been in and out of the injury room quite a lot.
Aya obviously covered a lot of right back last year as well.
He did. But but he was brought in to be a centre back. It was purely when
he absolutely is a centre back. He's not a.
Oh.
He did well, by the way.
No,
you can tell it's not comfortable.
Well, he played right back quite a bit for Celtic when he was up there. So he definitely can play right back, but it's more he is a centre back. He was brought to be a centre back, and it was when we needed to be more defensive, playing the higher teams. You didn't want Sergi Canos, who's a left winger, playing right back as he did last, and it just sort of you wanted someone a bit more comfortable there.
Okay, I'm not going to waste your time asking you about the 4.0 defenders because I'm not going to get a look in. Tell us about Keane Lewis-Potter and what you know, my friend.
Yeah, looks great. I've got a good friend who's a Hull fan, and he's pretty devastated he's come and joined us. Looks really good. Plays similar side to Wissa, but can play through the middle as well, which I've seen, which is interesting. So fill in the Eriksen-sized hole. There's a player who can potentially play through the middle. He doesn't really play through the middle, plays mainly through the left, but potential there that he could play through that middle section there. So it looks great. I don't think he'll start at the start of the season. I think we'll see him eased in slowly, just because you spend £60 million on a player, but we've got a front three which is finished the season quite well last year. So I don't think that'll be varied up too much.
Yeah, all the reading I've done has suggested the similar, that Wissa will start and Lewis-Potter won't. But it's made. I've had a couple of drafts with Wissa in, mate. It's put enough doubt there, I think. Is he in for you?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah, he's at the moment. Yeah.
Go on, talk about it. Because I think that's a very reasonable punt.
Like, the end of the season was, he found his feet, he got in the team. The move to the three was perfect. He just played really well. I mean, scoring goals, just doing everything he needed to do, making runs, just looked brilliant. I really, really like him. I think at the end of the season, he just found his form and just looked really, really good on the ball. He scored a lot of late goals throughout the season. One at West Ham, which I won't remind Sir John.
Listen, you're not getting an invite this season, mate. I'll tell you that. If there's any spare tickets, you're well down the list.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair. But yeah, no, I think he looked really good.
I hated you so much. Do you know the statistic from that game, Tom?
No,
the ball was only in play for about 43 minutes.
Oh, it was awful.
Was the lowest game.
Terrible.
I think I remember Suj actually talking about it.
Mate,
fuming. He was raging.
Absolutely raging. So
if we, truth be told, like when we talk about your second season syndrome and whether or not you guys are going to be all right, the reason I think you guys are going to be all right because you know how to.
They're streetwise, aren't they?
Get streetwise. Very, very politically correct, that phraseology.
They are streetwise.
Shit house at least.
But yeah, I'm just trying to move this conversation onto the Brentford player that's in my squad because he's another midfielder. Vissa's 5.5. He's competing against Netos of the world and what have you. Maybe a little bit more.
We're talking about
I'm cheap,
the hero,
cheap.
The king of the 4.5s, the ones that Andres Pereira's shaking in his boots.
I'm just wondering if this means
because it hasn't proved it yet.
No, I'm just wondering if this means you don't have Tony.
I don't have Tony.
Okay, there's our answer. Carry on.
And on that bombshell, go on. Do you think the Silva will play this year?
Yeah. I obviously said a lot about him last year, and I think James just laughed every time I spoke about him by the end of the season.
Yeah, because in March I was getting messages going, "Who's this guy Tom keeps talking about?"
Because it was Josh De Silva, 4.5 mil. Yes, I think he'll play. Yes, I think this is going to be a season. He's finally got over all the injuries. I actually watched. They did like a full interview with him on the Brentford channel a few weeks ago. So obviously he had the bad hip injury, which was him out for sort of the first half of the season. Came back, got a red card against Newcastle in his first game back, which also happened to be Eriksen's first game in, which obviously wouldn't have helped his chances. 3 games out, and I think it was during the international break as well. So it actually meant he was out for like 4 weeks, and he actually got injured in training. He got a hamstring injury in training, which is Eriksen. Obviously, I think would have had that position pretty much locked down. There was no way he's going to get replaced with Josh Silva, but there was another reason that he didn't get any game time really at all until right at the end of the season was because he actually picked up another injury. He's a brilliant player. I mean, in the Championship. In his last 2 seasons in the Championship, I think he scored like 15 goals and got 8 assists in one in his first season championship, second season championship, which obviously was injury hit. I think he hit 10 goals and 5 assists. Really attacking. He fills the Eriksen size hole. There's a but, and that comes in place of Matthias Jensen. So I think it depends who we're playing. But looking at it, I think we'll see more than likely a 2 in the pivot like we did last year. So Norgard, Janelt sort of sitting in the back 2 with a player sat in front of him. That could be Jensen, who finished the season incredibly well, and was playing really well with Eriksen. So it depends on who we play, really. If we're playing sort of, let's say, lower down team, there'll be sort of one holding midfielder, 2 in front, which then means De Silva and Jensen play together. And if we're playing 2, then it's a battle between Jensen and De Silva. Because Jensen ended the season so well, I think we might not see him in the first game week start. The nice thing is there's 5 substitutes now, and I think Thomas Frank will use all of them. So as long as he's fit, he will play. That's what I have to say on him, really. He will play even if he comes on for like a minute, he'll definitely play every game. It's just because there's the 5 subs.
Do you know how many people listen to every Planet FPL podcast? Suj?
To every single one?
Right, nearly. Yeah, weekly. That is in one individual podcast.
Oh, okay.
Because I can work out the answer because currently there are 3.4 million FPL players and Josh De Silva is owned by 1.2%. So I think it's about 40,000.
Nice.
You spoke about him so much last year to the extent that he was your best player in your eyes. And obviously that, on the serious, that stuck with me. It stuck with a lot of our listeners as well.
Me as well. He's in my team because I'm drinking the FPLW Tom Kool-Aid on Josh Silva.
No, listen, we're not the only ones.
I want him to do well for you. Don't get me wrong.
I know Tom Cantle, who got the assist, really big on him as well. But I think a lot of it has come from, honestly, things that you've said in the past, because the reality is most of us haven't seen him. A lot of us have seen him twice. And the 2 times we've seen him, he got 2 red cards. So there's not actually that much for us to go on. Now, he's a 4.5 million midfielder. So if you say to us, I think he's going to play regularly, doesn't have to be nailed. At the end of the day, he's possibly going to sit on the bench quite a lot. If you say he's going to play regularly, he's going to be the most advanced of your midfield 3, and he's 4.5. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
The only thing where it's possibly not enough is if you're going with one of them, there's a case to say Andreas Pereira might be better, and we'll speak to Dara about that on the next podcast. And you two can have your own little fucking West London war whenever you want, right? And get Gary Mantle and Chelsea involved as well. But for me, who's potentially lining up 5-3-2, he's in as it stands now.
Okay.
As one of 2 4.5s, with Pereira would be the other one. And I'm very comfortable with that, to be honest, Tom. Yeah,
he's definitely got an eye for goal. I mean, goals and assists have always been pretty good, free flowing for him. You look at his stats throughout; it's always been very good. He's coming back from a massive injury, which he was out for about 18 months. That's the only worry really on him. But he shows in games I've seen where he's played, there's glimpses of what he was, and if he can get anywhere near that, I mean, he's only 23 years old, 22 years old. He's not an old man. He's very, very young. So
was he at Arsenal as a kid?
Yeah, he was at Arsenal. Yeah. And I'm not sure if Arsenal released him and we took him out in the B. He was in the B team, so that's where he started. But he was in there very briefly, and then he was straight in. So yeah, I think he debuted at 18, 19 with us. So, and then as soon as he was in, when it was the season where we had Mbumo, Ben Rama, and Watkins, and he was the one that sort of got everyone didn't talk about him because there was the other 3, and if you took away the other 3, then he was by far head and above everyone else. So it's just because we had sort of the Neil Morpays, the Brian Mbumos, the Ben Ramas, and the Watkins that no one has ever really talked about him in the sort of same extent. But he's also a lot younger than all of them, and I think actually performed probably as well as all of them at points. So
who do you think will start game week 1 as it stands?
Yeah,
out of Josh De Silva and Jensen, and we should caveat this, by the way, by saying Brentford could buy someone.
Yeah.
And this could change.
I think Jensen will start. So I think we obviously have 3 of.
Oh, great! I don't want him now.
I think in the first game, I think we'll see in the first game that Jensen will start. So I think we'll see Norgard. Yeah, Norgard's back in training.
Moves Pereira to first sub.
Yeah. That's fine. De Silva will come on and either score an absolute banger from outside the box or get sent off again. So, we'll see. I think we'll see Norgard, Jan. If Norgard's just come back in training, so I think he should be fit by the start of the season. Norgard, Jan, probably Jensen in front of him. I think we'll see De Silva surpass him relatively quickly. Would be my
okay. Guess. That's interesting though, in the sense that, again, to go back to my point on Raya, it might be short-term decisions. So if you're looking at, if someone's looking for a 4.5, it's probably more. I think that makes it difficult to pick him over Pereira. Would be my point.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, you've got Pereira who looks like he's pretty much nailed to start, and again, is quite an attacking player as well himself. So yeah. Just you've got, I mean, you're picking between sort of, I guess, relegation candidate and sort of a top 10 rival. So, I mean, that's the sort of starting the beef nice and early this year. Fantastic.
Game week 3. They'll be waiting for you, mate.
Yeah, I know. Started talking too early, didn't I?
Is there a rivalry there just briefly?
I mean,
I guess it kind of is.
Well, no. So, I mean, they're I guess they're sort of, I guess, relatively the closest team to us. For a long time, not really, because I mean, they were in the Premier League for a long time. We were sort of nowhere near. QPR's our main rivals, really. But I mean, the Fulham game's quite big. I mean, that was the playoff game as well, where they beat us with the Sam Byron free kick. I don't remember it well at all. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a good game. I don't think it's as like crazy as some of the rivals we got, like Leeds United and things like that.
It's not West Ham Millwall, we know that.
No.
I mean, we know.
Yeah, I mean, it's West London. I mean, it's they'll all be turning up in sort of suits and ties, won't they? So
careful.
I'm joking.
Right, Tony then.
Yeah, I prefer Mbeumo.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Nobody else does.
Yeah, I know. I think that's why I quite like it. I think it worked actually. So I've messed around a little bit with it, and it actually works quite well. I mean, last year he was so unlucky.
What works well? Picking Mbeumo over Tony.
Sorry, go in Mbeumo. So drop in Wissa to like Andres Pereira. So I've got Wissa at the moment, so I've got a 5.5.
Yeah.
Drop into someone like Andres Pereira, gives you an extra mil. Then going Greenwood, trying to find the extra, then half a mil. So I haven't got Perisic, so I've got a bit of money there to sort of go up to sort of someone like a Mbeumo or a Tony.
Is your cheap striker basically?
Potentially. I've got Greenwood. I've got Greenwood at the moment.
I haven't got Perisic, so I can get a third Brentford player.
Yeah, absolutely. It logically makes sense. So.
And Mbeumo instead of Tony as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You do see the tagline. You see my Twitter name is FPL Dummy Tom, right? You've got that there. Last year he was so unlucky. I know he's playing as a front two, and I know they've put him as a forward this year. But he's always played his best football off the right-hand side, and I think that's where I ultimately play this year. I think last year he scored 5 goals. His XG was 10.
4 goals.
He scored 4 goals.
His XG was 25 or something.
His XG was 10, I think. But I mean, the amount of times he hit the cross. I mean, the amount of times he hit the cross.
X woodwork was 10.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think he's going to have a good season this season. I think he's sort of. I just got a feeling he will. I think he plays better off the right, and towards the end of the season, he got the same amount of assists as Eriksen in the final 11 games. So I was doing a bit of work on Eriksen, sort of how he did at the end of the season. He had the same amount of assists as Eriksen. He didn't score, I don't think, but he looked great again. I mean, he looked more comfortable on the right hand side than he did on the through the middle. And then the big man up top.
Is he better on his own, or is he better with a partner?
Oh, so much better on his own.
Well, that's my feeling as well. So the way you're laying it out sounds better for him.
Yeah, 7 mils just. I think it's just where it sits is because it's like, I mean, I don't have it at the moment because I've got Jesus at 8 mil. I don't know. It's just sort of, he is the best 7 mil striker as long as Cristiano Ronaldo comes back and Martial doesn't get a look in. And I think he plays better on his own. And I think he will be good this year. And I think he'll have a good season. I think he'll score probably more goals than last year, actually. But I think the rest of the team will also play better because I think the formation just suits the players that we've got at the moment. This playing off the left, Mbeumo on the right, and Tony through the middle. I can't seem to stretch it at the moment. And for an extra 1 mil, I can have Gabriel Jesus. So it's a bit hard for me to get him.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement with you. That run of fixtures, though, mate.
It's just
looking good.
Game week 3 to 15. What a run that is.
Yeah, you can have.
Now, listen, with respect to Brentford, you're not going to win 12 games in a row or something. But for Tony, what a run of fixtures. I mean, you could make a case that, obviously, look, it's Arsenal and Chelsea at home are in there. Newcastle away is the only other one that stands out as all. You scored 3 there last year.
Yeah.
He scored. I've admitted it's a different Newcastle now. What a run. Even for those who do wildcard early, look at the 5 fixtures from game week 3. Fulham, Everton, Palace, Leeds, Southampton. That's blinding.
It's not bad.
It's brilliant.
It's not bad at all.
Really good. It's really good for someone like Tony as well. I mean, all Palace are good defensively, but have a weakness aerially. The other 4 could all ship goals for fun.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of people obviously talked about last year. He obviously got quite a few pens as well, but he got quite a few pens and he scored every single one of them because he's
going to give one of the quiz answers again, Suj?
No. Was it who scored a certain number of goals? No, I can't remember the quiz.
Oh, you're making this shit content, aren't you?
Yeah.
Which Englishman scored the most penalties in the Premier last season?
Yeah, that's it. I obviously decided to go with Harry Kane. Got it wrong.
Not Harry Kane. As I'll remind Arsenal fans, we didn't actually really pay for 4th, contrary to popular opinion. It's the fixtures as well that make you so attractive in terms of your assets, Tom, as well, because there's no Tottenham pre-World Cup, Man City away not till game week 16, and even that, like the 3 big ones you have in there, you're all at home.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's really nice. The fixtures are great. I mean, we won't talk about the end of the season because that's disgusting, but the start of the season is brilliant.
Wow.
The end of the season is. I mean, if we're not safe by then, I may as well just go get my championship season tickets.
Yeah, just to flip it for you for Suj's benefit, I'm just going to get it up now because
I've got it in front of me.
It's absolutely
diabolical.
Dire. So you got Chelsea away in 33, then there's Forest at home 34. I tell you what, if you're not safe, you're in trouble. The last 4 is Liverpool away, West Ham at home, Tottenham away, Man City at home. With Chelsea away 2 before that as well.
So what's that? Yeah, be up 4 wins in 5. Lovely. Nice.
Yeah, but you say that. I mean, City would have the league wrapped up and be focused on resting players for the Champions League final.
Oh yeah, because they're beating shit.
Spurs will have top 4 wrapped up, and so
well said, sir.
Resting players. West Ham will be getting ready for the Conference League final, so we'll be resting players as well.
Right,
you'll be fine, mate. You'll be fine.
Easy. It sounds easy. So.
Yeah, no, it's worth. I actually just looking at the fixtures before Brighton, Newcastle, Wolves, Villa, before that Chelsea 33 game. Really is a dog.
It's
the last
awful.
10 or so.
It's really bad. Yeah,
he's not good at all. But look, everyone's got to play. I actually just looking further. United away 25, Arsenal away 23. That's why you got these good fixtures before the World Cup. Your first 15 is great. Your last 15 is abysmal and stuff. Listen, everyone's got to play the same 2 teams twice. But yes, it's something potentially that the football club should be conscious of. That, yeah, a little bit like Leeds when everyone's winning. You don't want everyone winning around you if you're stuck down there and them fixtures in your face.
That would be fine by then. We'll be nice and safe by then. It's fine.
Well, I tend to agree with you, Tom, but it's the nagging doubt that I say that to someone every year. I said it to Andy last year. I said it to Tomo the year before and was wrong twice. That makes me know that this league is bloody unforgiving and
oh yeah, absolutely.
Shit can hit the fan basically.
Yes,
I think that's most of it covered. Oh, I'll tell you what we did want to ask you about, Tom, was the few people asked about Marcus Force. Is he going to leave?
Yeah.
He's 4.5 forward. He's at
Halil Devoglu.
He's come back from Turkey, but he's not got a price, has he?
He will be interesting. I really like him. I think he's a good player.
I've looked at his goal record and it doesn't look that interesting.
It's not that great, but I think it's one of those where he's gone out and done his time way now. So they reckon that he's actually jumped above Force now in the level. Yeah,
that's what I've read.
Yeah. He. I mean, there was a beautiful assist he put in the other day during pre-season. Looks a little bit more on it. Again, I don't think he's really going to play that much. If Tony gets injured, then yeah, sure. But what's also to note on there is if Tony gets injured, Wissa can also play through the middle as a striker, and he did that at where he was before Brentford. I can't
same
remember.
Same applies to Mbeumo though, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be interesting. I think you might see Wissa go up top, just because I think Mbeumo does just play so much better from the right. It'll be interesting. Hopefully, he doesn't get injured, and we don't have to have that question.
Well, touch wood, yeah, exactly. But I think if you lost Tony, it might be that they put the two of them together.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It might go 3-5-2 again, for example. Something like that might be what they look at. How do you feel about the depth of the squad?
Good.
I suppose for you psychologically, it just constantly looks better and better year on year. I should imagine.
We've not sold anyone, and we've signed 4 new players in the positions we needed to sign players. So I'm really happy. It looks a lot stronger than it has done. The only one potentially is a midfielder, but yeah, there's enough strength and depth there already. I mean, the likes of, we haven't even talked about Onyeka, Baptiste, and other players that can come in and play those positions. Godos, yeah, well, maybe not.
No, but he's multifunctional. He can play a lot of different positions, can't he?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Basically, when a player gets injured, he goes and plays there. A bit like Canos.
How long's he out for? Because he's out for the start as well, isn't he?
It's only one game ban for taking off a shirt and then taking off a shirt after celebrating against Leeds and then going and fouling someone about 20 seconds later. So
not only did you take Burnley's captain. Yeah. I think that's it from me. No, that's really good, Tom. Fascinating, mate.
Where are you hoping to finish this year, Tom?
So, well, we did the prediction thing, didn't we? I put 10th.
Well,
I've got first. I presume.
Yes, I actually misput the 0 in. Yeah, winning the league this year. Ivan Toney top scorer. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll improve from last year. I've looked through the teams and I just think that I may, as you know, I'm the world's most optimistic person. So
no, to be honest, I think if you survive injuries and stuff, and as long as a collective, the team realizes what it misses with Eriksen.
Yeah.
Joshua Hill, we haven't seen it. No one's expecting him to be Eriksen's level, but if he come in, he can replicate in terms of the team stylistically and stuff.
Yeah.
Then I don't see any reason why you can't think that. You know what I'm going to say. We had the same conversation with Andy. We had the same conversation with Tomo.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's exactly that.
Well, I think the thing on the Eriksen, final one on Eriksen leaving is we've got a director of football who's been there for many years now, Phil Giles, who would have seen this coming a mile off. There's no way at the end of the season he would have gone, oh, Eriksen's going to stay, we'll be fine. So they've already planned for that. I'm very sure of that. So, yeah.
How many of you fellow correspondents think Tippy to go down?
Or, well, I reckon at least all of the 3 promoted teams will want us to go down. So that's 3, maybe 5.
1.
Oh, really? That'll be and Fulham.
No. Yes, it's one of the promoted managers, and I'll just leave it. I'll leave it at that.
It's bloody Mark, isn't it? For God's sake.
No.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I mean,
I
wonder which one it is then.
Tom, thank you so much. Please plug your podcast with some brand new branding. Are we know?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a graphic designer in house now and everything. No, my sister. FPL by Dummies. We release a pod every Monday. Well, Monday night with my mate Cam. Just 2 uni mates chatting absolute shit about FPL, and we have terrible FPL history, so it's just a bit of a laugh that we decided to do, and it's good fun. So come and join and give us a listen if you fancy.
I'm still waiting for my invite.
You've already been on. It's Suj's turn next.
Yeah, James. Yeah, go on. Well, I'm more the same level as Tom, mate. James, you're too good. It's a dummies pod, mate. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's new season. I'm waiting for my invite. Can I just say, if any content creators are listening and thinking, oh, James got some spare time, now guess what? I don't.
James, you're too much of an expert. Yes, Tom, thank you so much for joining us on
you
this
did not just call me an expert. We're going to fall out.
I did. I really want you guys to do well this season, other than when you're playing against us, because I do like teams getting shit housed, just not when it's my own. So,
I'm not going to bullshit. I hope you go down. I hope Bournemouth go down. It's too difficult to get a ticket. And I Palace go down because shithole.
Cool, thanks, mate. Yeah. Well, nice. That's your invite in the bin, isn't it? So.
James is busy looking for a new Brentford correspondent, but in the meantime, we're marching on with Correspondent Week, James, and I think you've decided to give all of the public transport a miss, because we can walk to the next one, can't we?
I don't know how long's the walk to Fulham.
Don't worry, it wouldn't be a problem for me.
It might be for me. I'd need to get a bus on it.
Round the corner. Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah, 5 miles.
Yeah, a bit of a walk, isn't it? Have a couple of pints on the way.
And that's what we will be doing. Next up, we have Dara joining us, the Tinkermen, Fulham back in the Premier League. So make sure wherever you are listening to the podcast, you are subscribed, hit the notification bell, and you'll know as soon as that episode goes live. Any last thoughts, James?
No, I'm just trying to think when this goes out. It's Tuesday night. So Wednesdays is Dara with Fulham, Lee Jackson Villa, and Johnny Pringle Man City. Those are your 3 for Wednesday.
Lovely. Thanks again, Tom, and stay safe, listeners. Ciao for now.
Thanks, Tom. Good luck this season, mate. Cue music, please, man, child.